This week is Holy Week. Do you know what that means? It's a week that we remember that Jesus was not just an amazing person, but that Jesus was God's Son, and he came to the earth for a very, very special reason. There are some stories this week that are hard. There are some stories this week that we don't always quite understand. Not just kids, but adults don't always understand these stories. I don't always understand these stories. But we go through these stories each year in this week because it's important to tell those stories. Maybe you have some stories in your family that are important that are told over and over again. That's kind of what this week is about. And I want to start this week with a story about the Last Supper. And that's what we celebrate on the Thursday of Holy Week. It's a very important meal that Jesus had with his followers, who were called disciples. Here's the story. As Jesus and his 12 disciples sat around the table to share the Passover meal, Jesus told his friends this would be their last meal together and that a difficult time would be coming. Then he took a loaf of bread and blessed it and tore it into pieces, and he shared it with everyone at the table. And Jesus told them that the bread was like his own body that would be given for them. "Eat this to remember me," he said. And Jesus took a cup of wine and blessed it and shared it with his disciples. "This cup of wine is a reminder of my promise to be your Savior," he said. Then Jesus told them something that made them very sad. "One of you will turn against me and will give me to my enemies." "Is it me? Is it me? Is it me? Is it me?" each one asked. "I would never do that," Peter protested. Jesus said, "Peter, I'm sorry to tell you that before morning you will deny that you know me. In fact, you'll deny that you know me 3 times before the rooster crows." Later that night, Jesus walked to the Mount of Olives, where there was a peaceful garden. He knelt down and he prayed to his Father in heaven. And he asked God to give him the courage to face the troubles ahead. And when his prayer time was over, Jesus rejoined the disciples, and suddenly a crowd of angry men showed up. The high priests, temple police, and leaders. And one of Jesus' disciples, Judas, was with them. He walked over to Jesus and kissed him. That was the signal to the leaders that Jesus was the one they wanted to arrest. Judas was the traitor. The temple police took Jesus away. The dark night and the dark times had begun. And that dark night and those dark times will continue. They'll continue tomorrow with another story. So, one of the things that we can remember as part of this story is that God is with us. And more importantly this week, God is with Jesus. God is Jesus. And God is giving Jesus the strength to face all the hard things, the terrible things that he's going to deal with this week. So be in prayer for Jesus. And I'll be in prayer for you, and you can be in prayer for me as we retell these stories. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow for a day called Good Friday.